All right, a very good afternoon to you, Western Connecticut. We are cutting in. We have a line of storms approaching the region. These storms have gone severe, even tornado warned off to our north and off to our northwest. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, but wanted to just share the big picture here. This is kind of what we were concerned about in the days leading up to this event. So when I said there could be a line of rotating supercell storms. That's what looks like is trying to form here. You can kind of see these individual storms approaching the Hudson Valley. Here you have one closer to New Jersey. You have a couple in northern New Jersey. And these are going to continue to work their way towards us over the next couple hours. So original timing window was about 3 to 9 p.m. I still think that's relatively accurate, but really now is the time I want to jump on. Now is the time we want to start paying attention to what's going on to our west, because again, these are entering a favorable air mass. You can see those dew points across Connecticut: 71 at White Plains, 70 in Danbury. Those are high dew points, 76 in Waterbury, 71 in Bridgeport. This is entering a very warm and humid, unstable air mass. So as this line approaches, the dynamics are already favorable. We're already seeing that play out to our north, but these storms do have the ability to strengthen and become severe warned as they head closer. So let's take a look at this storm. Just a really, really ugly look here. This tornado warned cell right where it's really moving pretty quickly now, but it was right where New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut all come together here in the very, very farthest northwest hills, and then North Canaan here. So I know there are a few followers that still follow, our weather from this region. And this looks pretty ugly. You're probably getting some pretty heavy weather. I'll show you the velocity here. Never good to see that kind of signature. 60, 65 mile per hour winds coming through with this storm right here. Just not a good look at all. So, definitely again, tornado warning here. So if you're in North Canaan, if you're anywhere near Sheffield, Mass, you don't want to take your tornado precautions, get inside, get to the lowest level of your home. Away from windows if possible. And this is what it's going to look like. Let me switch radars, probably get a little more definition from the Albany radar here. And again, it's the winds are pretty strong here, so I think the radar is having a hard time. This is also a bit of a radar hole in a lot of ways, where it's hard sometimes for the radar beam to see the Litchfield Hills as well as it sees like places closer to the shoreline or closer to the radar site in Albany. So just keep that in mind as well. But definitely nothing. Definitely want to take this one seriously here from North Canaan all the way to Sheffield, Massachusetts. And we'll see sometimes what happens with these storms is they're elevated right now. They're in the hills. Those mountains up there in the northwest corner go up to about 2,000 feet. And when they come down into the valley, into some of these places like Springfield, Mass, you get those, you get a little bit more spin at the low level. And the tornado can tighten up a little bit. So definitely would watch this one if you have any interest in Massachusetts and southern Massachusetts, central Massachusetts. Keep a really close eye on the cell over the next hour as it tracks to the east. Again, nothing to joke about there. I'll go back to regular radar mode, and we can look. And again, it looks like there's nothing down here, but when I change sites, right, you'll see all the cells pop up. You're starting to see stronger storms again working in New Jersey, working to the Hudson Valley, and eventually those will be working in our direction into Connecticut here. And again, unstable air mass, right? That severe thunderstorm watch is in effect, so conditions are favorable for severe weather today. Just want to keep all of that in mind as again you head through the next couple hours. It looks to me like places like New Milford could be in line first. Some of these cells, maybe there's a northwesterly component to them. So Litchfield County here, buckle up, Kent, Warren, Litchfield, Morris, Washington, New Milford, all those towns that it seem like they've gotten hit kind of the last couple rounds of severe weather. It's coming for you first, and then eventually these cells, which are again, they're trying to form supercells here down into New Jersey. You can kind of see where there's a rotation point on these as they move northeast. And yeah, just going to watch those head into Fairfield County over the next couple of hours. So a couple comments here. Danbury could definitely get hit really hard, right? We're in the level 2 severe risk. We're in the 2 to 4% tornado risk. And it's hard, right? Because probably what's going to happen today, which is what happens on a lot of severe weather days, is you get a line of storms work through. A few towns get hit really hard and get a lot of damage. And then, 90% of towns, yeah, it's storms, but it's not too bad. It's nothing, oh, why was the weatherman making a big deal out of this, right? But again, when you forecast severe weather, you're forecasting statistics. So this is the most robust setup I've seen this year. I think for parts of southern Connecticut, like south of I-84, this might be the most robust setup in the last couple of years. So definitely heightened statistical probability of severe weather today through the area. And that's how I look at it. I try not to look at it like a point by point forecast or like what happened in my backyard. Because when you're forecasting severe weather, right, you want to focus on what are the maximum possible impacts. Like today we have the tornado threat. I don't usually go on and say that necessarily. If there's a chance of just a spin up tornado, a spin up tornado and a microburst are kind of very similar in nature. They do similar amounts of damage. So I won't necessarily use the tornado warning because I don't want to scare people. I want to save it for a day like this where we have a little bit more heightened risk of something actually serious happening. Derek, thanks for the comment here. 3 p.m. is looking pretty good. And these storms, I'd say about an hour away. It's hard sometimes, you get storms pop up ahead and it kind of throws the timing off, or it throws something off. But yeah, about an hour away from Brookfield, I would say. Mike's pumped up in New Milford for the storms to work through. You're seeing lightning strikes in Salisbury. Yeah, that storm up there, really powerful storm. Again, tornado warned, doing a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes. We got storm parties going on in Stony Hill. Thanks for the comment there, Robert. I'm sure, Christine, I'm sure you can see that you're probably getting outflow from this first storm that's north of you that's really, really nasty in Torrington. And then you have additional cells that are going to try to work towards you over the next hour here. A couple other people saying it's hot and humid. And again, I could answer every town comment, right? I think last night somebody from every possible town commented, "Hey, is it going to be bad in my area?" And it's like, yes, there's a chance of severe weather across the entire Western Connecticut, adjacent New York State region. I think everyone is in the severe thunderstorm watch today, except for New London County. So everyone else, if you're in Connecticut, you're part of the Hudson Valley in New York, all of you are in the severe thunderstorm watch. So you could get a severe thunderstorm. That's what it means. Conditions are ripe for severe weather. I can't tell you exactly what time it's going to hit, right? I can't say, oh yeah, at 4:15 it's going to hit Danbury. It's going to be a really nasty storm. It just doesn't work like that, right? But we focus on the probabilities, the percentages. Today we have a higher chance than normal of seeing severe weather. Jojo saying it's getting a little dark in Bethel. Yeah, so we're starting to see these storms that work a little bit closer. I don't think they're super, super close to our area right now. But over the next couple hours, what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see the skies darken. And eventually one of these could work its way in. It looks like these cells out ahead of the main line are moving north, have a little bit of north component to them. So again, these are entering a more favorable environment for severe weather as these come across the Hudson Valley. So what you can see sometimes is you'll see these storms start to kind of congregate and they will strengthen a little bit. And that's when we see the cores pop up. When we see the cores pop up, that's a sign that eventually the core will blow down. And that's how you get your microbursts. In this kind of situation, if we see a rotating storm, that's when we start to get worried about the hail threat and we start to get worried about the tornado threat. So a couple storms catching my eye, obviously right now. You do have the tornado warning here again, heading right just south of Sheffield, Massachusetts, it looks like, just over the Connecticut border. But these storms just to the south, you could kind of start to see Armenia, New York. I always feel like I pronounced that wrong. Beekman, New York. Start to see these are trying to get their act together a little bit as they head into Connecticut. So please, if you're in Litchfield County over the next 45 minutes, please be on alert in the next hour. That's when these storms could be coming in. They're a little bit ahead of schedule, which makes me more concerned for that tornado threat, just because earlier on in the day we have a little bit more favorable rotation. While these are cellular, we call it, eventually they'll form probably a line, and that line will just move across the area. When they do that, you still have a chance of gusty winds, but you have less of a tornado risk because things are moving more linearly, not rotating as much. And again, sorry if I get a little technical here. It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of dynamics work into the region, right? So It's like a meteorologist's holiday or something. I don't know the best way to describe it. I mean, we never root for severe weather. I don't want to see anybody's house get destroyed. That always sucks. But obviously, this is the time where as a meteorologist, you start getting a little bit amped up. The adrenaline's flowing a little bit. Yep, Liam, I agree wholeheartedly. Those storms to the west of us are likely going to strengthen as they move closer. Just looking at the radar again, this one in Beekman, New York, catching my eye. We'll see if we get it. East Fishkill to Beekman. Looks like there's even a little bit of a rotational notch on this, perhaps. We'll see if we see that all on the velocity here. Yeah, you can see that. So red going away from radar, green going towards the radar. So that's, we get a little bit of rotation there. And we'll see if this strengthens at all as it heads this way, right, as it heads northeast. So that's what we'll look for there. But again, if you're in these areas, right, so anywhere from Kent, Gaylorsville, Sherman, New Milford, Washington, Warren, this is where I would be more concerned for this storm to come in and maybe do something a little bit scary. So we'll watch that. Looks like there's another couplet down here near West Point. Let me get I got to get the pen off to zoom out here. We'll see if we can see that at all. We're getting a little far away from the radar site, but yeah, that storm looks like it's trying to strengthen a little bit as well. So again, as these move into the more favorable air mass, that's what we're going to get. I can't overstate it. 85 degrees, 70-degree dew point. That's ripe at Danbury for severe storms. Doesn't necessarily mean they're guaranteed to hit. Same thing in Waterbury. When you get the dew point up to 76, that's indicative of plenty of instability for these storms, plenty of fuel for these storms to fuel off of. But yeah, broader look again. You can see that initial line is formed a little bit ahead of schedule. A lot of models this morning were coming in more 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I wanted to keep the 3 o'clock timing just in case something like this happened where they formed a little bit out ahead of the main front, which is what happened. So glad I did that. And again, you're probably going to see, if you're watching right now from New Milford or Kent, these storms are getting a little bit closer. They're getting a little bit stronger. You're going to see the skies darken here quick. I'm in Stony Hill. You can probably see the door to my left. Plenty of sunshine coming through right now, but this line is coming. This line is coming. We have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect. Let me look at this tornado warning. Oh, look what they added to the tornado warning here. This is pretty intense. So radar indicated tornado warning, but the hail with this storm now, let's see if they tornado golf ball size hail, a 1.75 inch size hail with this storm. That's nothing to joke around with, right? That very rare in New England to see a warning like that for golf ball size hail and a tornado. This is it says central Litchfield County, but it's really the extreme northern part of Litchfield County. North Canaan points north. Looks like that hail core is just to the east of Sheffield, Massachusetts, headed towards New Marlborough there. So again, tornado warning. It's only radar indicated right now, but golf ball size hail is possible with this storm. So that shows you how intense the environment is today. Could one of these cells to the south pop up similarly and do something like that? Yeah, right. That's the potential. So that's why we have to take this whole severe thunderstorm warning today, this tornado threat seriously. And again, this cell near Beekman, New York, the cell coming right across the border into Sharon right now, both look like they're strengthening. They're both headed off southwest to northeast, more or less. So just, keep an eye on those. We do have these cells, again, off to the south. Looks like they're trying to get their act together a little bit. I don't see a ton of organization right now. But with this activity, as it starts to move north, and this is moving more northeast, do these form a cell here and potentially drive into northern Fairfield County, southern Litchfield County? I think it's very possible, right? I'd keep my eye out for that. Same thing here, right? So if you have this activity, does this kind of coalesce into something, move more into Ridgefield, Greater Danbury? I'd keep my eye out for that. again, not a guarantee it's going to happen, but something as a meteorologist, I would definitely be looking out for right now. And again, with the timing, thank you, Jennifer, for the comment here. So it looks like we're about, these are starting to get closer and closer. Yorktown, New York, Putnam Valley, New York for some of the early activity. The main line here, just west of the Hudson Valley, looks like, or the Hudson River, excuse me. I would say about 45 minutes to an hour away. Probably before things start to get really, hairy, is about what I would say. So right in that 3 o'clock window. Yeah, and if you see the white sky today, I posted before. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the comment, Justine. I posted before that, if the sky is white, get ready for a fright. That was an old Dr. Mel saying. And it's definitely white today. Usually, I think when that saying stems from when you get a more humid air mass, generally get less of a blue sky, more haze, more white sky. Today, we also have some wildfire smoke contributing to that white. So it's not necessarily a pure, it's not necessarily, I think, what the expression was necessarily intending fully, but definitely when it's white, you're in for a fright. How fast are these storms moving? We can put Storm Track on really quick here. Let me get that for you. I think if I had to guess, I'd say about 40 miles per hour, but the reason that we have the fancy radar is because we can look at that kind of thing. So let me put the Storm Tracks on. About 30 miles per hour on that cell, 31 miles per hour on that cell. So yeah, they're coming in. They're coming in 30, 35 miles per hour, I would say. I want to turn that back off because we, I think it's annoying to look at personally. It's a good question, Brad. So this is definitely the initial line, and this is probably the line I'd be most concerned with for severe weather. The models do have more storms, especially south. So if you're on the shoreline, I heard they canceled the Norwalk Festival. I think the Oyster Festival happening today. I think those areas could see more repeated rounds of action heading into the evening. Can't rule out storms even off to the north of that, right? Greater Danbury points north, heading into this evening too. But this is the initial batch of, I think, severe weather. And then after that, my guess would be it's more run-of-the-mill storms. But there is, flash flood potential with that we have to keep an eye on. More worried about flash flooding today around New York City, lower Westchester County than I am here, but definitely worth keeping an eye on everywhere. Yeah, I think, Danielle, you said first rumbles in Woodbury. I think I just heard some here as well. I'm not sure which cell I'm hearing, but definitely heard some thunder off to the west-northwest here. See if any lightning popped on the radar. I don't see any cloud to ground strikes reported here yet, but that doesn't mean that one didn't happen. Yeah, Southbury celebration was canceled. Looks like we got a couple other reports of thunder here. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Meg. Thanks, Justine. You appreciate it. There was a straight line windstorm at Norwalk Oyster Fest about 10 years ago. It was terrifying. Yeah, they probably remember that. Never a good situation to have everybody's tent up or things like that when one of those works through. You are starting to see more lightning with these storms coming to New Jersey, coming into the Hudson Valley, coming into Beekman, New York, approaching Gaylordsville. And that's also a sign that they're starting to strengthen. So when we start to see more lightning, it means those cores are firing up. You're getting more ice in the storm. More ice tends to create more lightning. So that's what you're seeing there. But yeah, no, thank you guys. Let's see. Naomi, how long do you expect it to take for the worst to push through Fast and Furious, or will it sit and spin? I like that. I like that wording. I think it's not necessarily the fastest move out you've ever seen, right? These are kind of tracking southwest to northeast. We could get repeated storms that kind of come in behind this initial line. So I do think that 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. window is going to be pretty close to what we see. Could some move out by 7? Sure, yeah. But I think there's going to be storms in the area for most of the afternoon, I would say. But yeah, the storm, you can just tell on radar here, this line's starting to get a little bit more nasty. These cells into Fishkill, New York, Beekman, New York, even down into New Jersey starting to pop up more. So definitely, by about 3 o'clock, you want to be home in Western Connecticut. And you want to be in a safe spot for these to come through, right? So all the bays are open. Fire department's ready to go. We'd love to see it. That's awesome. You know, those guys get so in tune with the forecast now too. I think it's great. You know, they have all these plans in advance, and Brookfield's a lot like that. New Milford's like that. Danbury always reaches out to me for forecasts. They're great. You know, they're very prepared for this stuff. Looks like they extended that tornado warning a little bit. Now quarter size hail, so not golf ball size hail anymore in this cell, which is good news. Nobody needs golf ball size hail as this enters that area in the central mass. As it loses some of its rotation, we'll see, does one of these cells to the south, take over a little bit and become the main cell, the main supercell here. This one in Cornwall looks like it wants to pop, heading into Housatonic State Forest here. It's not a good look. Let's see if there's any rotation with this. We noted some earlier. It's not giving me a good look at it on that one. Oh, look at this storm. Look at this. It's even farther south. It's the Beekman, New York one. Let's put that in motion. So this is your rotation, right? This is your couplet. This is not a good look headed into Gaylordsville, headed into Kent. Let's see exactly where this is going. This is live analysis, folks, right? So sometimes you got to give me a minute here. But yeah, I'd be concerned in Litchfield County. Can't really see it well. Like, it doesn't look super robust from a rotational standpoint. Let's see if I can flip over. It's not letting me flip to. See if we can see that on the other radar here. Yeah, there's definitely some broad rotation there. Yeah, this is one to watch. So headed into like the northernmost part of Sherman, Gaylordsville. Let me zoom out. We can see if we can put this velocity in motion for you. Yeah, it looks like it's going to head right into Gaylordsville, South Kent would be my guess here. We'll see if this strengthens, and it's been strengthening the last few frames. This is something we could see a severe thunderstorm warning or even a tornado warning. They just put a severe thunderstorm warning on this cell that we were just looking at in Cornwall. We'll see if they add one here to the south on the cell that came out of Beekman, New York, heading to Gaylordsville. Severe thunderstorm warning now. So this is for most of northern Litchfield County. Quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible within this severe thunderstorm warning. You can see all your cities impacted there: Torrington, Norfolk, let's see, Cornwall, Salisbury, Goshen, Colebrook, Cornwall again, Smithfield. All these areas in that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me go back to regular radar mode here. And again, I don't like this. That's when we can get a little funky here. This inflow notch, just to the north of Cornwall. Don't like that. You're starting to see it a little bit down here in that Gaylordsville storm too. Don't like this at all. We're starting to see a lightning core. We're seeing lightning strikes here, indicative of strengthening storms. Not the best look here for Litchfield County right now. We zoom out. And even these storms back off to west of Danbury, also strengthening. So it's starting to pop up. It's starting to pop off in real time here. We're going to watch again the next 45 minutes if you're down in Greater Danbury. The next, I'd say 15, 20, 30 minutes here in central Litchfield County, northern Litchfield County. It's kind of coming into you right now from Falls Village to Norfolk. But yeah, these are strong. These are nothing to joke about. Make sure you have severe thunderstorm up. And there it is. There it is. Live on the air. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning for this cell between Beekman and Gaylordsville. Again, 1-inch quarter size hail possible with this storm. Wind gusts of 60 miles per hour possible with this storm. Southern Litchfield County, southeastern Dutchess County. This is moving east at 45 miles per hour. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, quarter size hail, like we said. What can that do? That could do hail damage to vehicles, wind damage to roof, siding, trees. New Milford, Sherman, Pauling, Thomason, Kent, Litchfield, Northwest Harwington, Oakville, Terryville, Woodbury Center, Gaylordsville, Hoboken Junction, New Preston, Wingdale, East Fishkill, Watertown, Beekman, Plymouth, Woodbury, and Harwington. That severe thunderstorm warning is out until 54 minutes from now. So through the next hour in southern Litchfield County, you're going to want to watch the storm really, really closely. They might have made it a little bit too far south right away here, but regardless, I think this is coming, right? So even if this one doesn't necessarily hit these areas right away, right, where most of the people on the page probably follow from, I would still be concerned for the storms building back to the south, right? So you can't discount that at all. That's another pretty drawing I have for you today. But yeah, I mean, this is an ugly storm. This is an ugly storm here, heading into Gaylordsville, South Kent. I'll put that rotation back, or the velocity radar back on. It is a broad rotation. It's definitely there. So again, we'll continue to monitor that. That's probably where the best chance of damaging wind is right now in the storm. You can zoom all the way in. So once that crosses the Connecticut border, you're looking at coming into Bulls Bridge, Route 7, and Gaylordsville, South Kent area. So these areas, I believe they got hit by a microburst a little bit ago, in July. So it looks like it could happen again here. Please take shelter if you're in this area, especially north of New Milford. Froze a little bit there. Anywhere in this area, north of Washington, this is my primary concern right now. And then the secondary concern will move south as the storm continues to work in. All right, so live reports, Jessica with a K, I appreciate it. Cornwall Bridge, 6 miles from Kent. Dark skies, thunder here. Winds getting worse in New Milford, thank you. Naugatuck, you're okay for now. Just got to watch it over the next hour, the next 2 hours. You're absolutely welcome for the live, Susan, anytime. That's why we're here. Watching from Watertown, Victoria. You are in the warning, but nothing super concerning in Watertown at the moment. Again, just keep an eye on it as the storm gets closer. Better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, that's why they make the warnings big. Right? You never know what these storms are going to do. They could change direction at the last second. Then it's like I got to issue a new warning. They don't like to do that. So Sherman, it is coming in. It's just a little bit to the north. The worst, if you're north of the center of Sherman, I don't want to say downtown. It's Sherman, but if you're north of the center of Sherman, watch out for that storm. I can go back to make it easier to see for everybody if you're not a meteorologist. But again, you can see these little notches and the kinks in the storm. That's what we have to watch to see if any of those grow into something that's a little bit more intense. We do have a special weather statement out for these cells here in Westchester County now too. So northern Westchester County, let's see what this statement is. Thunderstorms coming in that could have wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So again, keep an eye on this. Could those storms strengthen into something a little bit more? Absolutely. But right now, main concern is Litchfield County. Again, really impressive storms moving in, and they are taking their time because they're moving southwest to northeast. So, yeah, look at that. I'll draw it for you one more time. I might have to jump off here because my son woke up from his nap. But little notch here, little notch right into Gaylordsville, Bulls Bridge, heads up right now. Those are areas that I would be primarily concerned with for damaging winds. Could we get a spin up? Could you get a tornado warning? Yes, absolutely. Possible here, I'd say within the next half hour. So as these move to the east, northeast, please be on the lookout in these areas. Right. And things can develop behind it too. Like I said, could get another one, but this is kind of the pattern it looks like it wants to do today. It wants to have these embedded supercells. So supercells that are kind of forming into one line, but they're still discrete enough to have rotation with them. that's where we got to watch out, Sorry, a lot of comments here. Just lost power in Torrington. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for the report. I'm not sure the cells are there yet, but you definitely could see some outflow winds ahead of it that knocked your power out 100%. Yeah, Gaylordsville. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. If you could stay on for a couple minutes here, it looks like the worst of that storm is coming right to you. I'd love a live report there when it comes in. I'd say it's about like a minute away. It's a minute away from Gaylordsville right now. It's coming right into the club at River Oaks golf course. Yeah, not a good look here. Let's look back at the velocity, see if we strengthened it all. Yeah, we're only not seeing a whole lot on the velocity, but I think the storm's doing a little bit more. It's got a little bit more oomph to it than that. So South Kent, Bulls Bridge, Gaylordsville, that's where the severe thunderstorm warning is right now. That's where I'm, most concerned for wind damage right now. Similar story up here. I don't want to discount these areas that are a little bit less populated. Cornwall, Colebrook, as it heads east, we'll get into places like New Hartford, Barkhamsted. Those areas also under the gun here. But I think right now this just looks the most nasty to me. Let me redraw this. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at. Gaylordsville, South Kent. You can see these kinks in the line. Storm's trying to strengthen. All right. And it looks like it is headed into some of these cells out near Danbury are also developing a little bit faster than I thought. Again, these are kind of lifting. It's so hard when you get into these live situations. These are kind of lifting more, I'd say more north than east, but certainly worth watching here. I lost my mouse for a second. I'm trying to fix my mouse. That's no fun. All right. There we go. So these storms, again, trying to form, trying to develop, trying to work northeast. Don't see anything like crazy severe with these right now, but definitely worth watching. Everything else that's headed into Litchfield County, to me, looks like it's strengthening right now, live in front of our eyes. And this Gaylordsville storm, I'm going to go back to it. Nasty. Bulls Bridge, South Kent. I don't know where some of these places are. Erickson Corner, never heard of that one. That's where you're under the gun for the most intense weather right now. Let's see if there's anything else. All right, we did extend. So National Weather Service has extended the tornado warning in Massachusetts to the east. We're still radar indicated tornado here. 1-inch hail possible. New severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're missing a little patch. I don't know why they didn't fill this in between New Hartford and Barkhamsted, but it's all the same. I would consider this. I would consider this a severe thunderstorm warning for this entire northern Hartford County, northern Litchfield County area. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail here. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, northern Litchfield, and then same deal in southern Litchfield County with that cell. Although again, I would. There's a lot of lightning here now. A lot of lightning at Bulls Bridge, South Kent. This really looks a little bit more robust to me than a standard warning. We'll see if this gets upgraded here in a second. I don't like this storm. I don't like that. So Route 202 north of New Milford. Again, I think you had a microburst go through Route 202 north of New Milford a couple times this season. I think there was one in May and then one in July. But that's the area that's under the gun again right now. As we head, that's coming in about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes away from that. Maybe we'll switch back to radar mode here and get a better look at these. But yeah, that cluster of lightning shows kind of that core. That's what we're talking about, right? Those cores can shoot up there. Not a good look. It's getting really breezy here in Bethel too right now. Clouds are moving quickly. I think these storms off to the west are getting a little bit closer here. Again, we'll see. These haven't really coalesced into anything yet. Not like they have up to the north here, but we'll watch it. Either way, I mean, this could be – it's heavy weather either way. So whether or not this ends up being, severe warned, I'd say in Danbury we're about – maybe the west side's already getting some showers, some drizzle, but I'd say you're about a half hour or less in Greater Danbury away from downpours and the potential for severe weather. So that's what we have to look at. Yeah, Mark, lots of thunder now. Thanks for the report. I think it's going to be near constant here as that core shot up northern New Milford. Yeah, around 7, I think, Addison, the severe weather threat's probably mostly gone. But we could still see some showers and storms in the area. Trumbull, it's going to take a while. Cristiano, it's going to take a while to get there, but you're definitely in the zone where you could see some severe storms for sure. I would even watch this one right here coming out of Mount Pleasant. This one looks like it wants to shoot up, and because it's on the southeast side of kind of the action here, I wouldn't be surprised to see this grow and have some wind gusts with it as it heads towards, say, Ridgefield, North Salem, Ridgebury, Danbury in a little bit. Keep a close eye on that one too. Yeah, I don't really like the way that's kind of energized, juiced a little bit there. Let me look at this storm again from a velocity standpoint, see if we see anything different. Looks like it's strengthening a little bit. So the wind gusts closer to 40 miles per hour now on radar. Could something like 50, 60 be happening at the surface? If there's like a storm core shooting down, absolutely. All right, and then while we have a second here, I just want to thank Ventura Law next to me for sponsoring this video. Local company out of Danbury. They sponsor a lot of like really local people like me, so I just want to thank them for doing that. All this streaming stuff, the fancy radars, they do cost money, so it's really nice to get that support from the local companies. Where am I, Sarah? I am in I'm in Stony Hill. Unless you're asking somebody else, but it's hard to tell sometimes with the comments. Greenwich, I think you are, again, I'd look out in about 20 to 30 minutes. It's heading towards that area. Let me switch back radar mode here. But that Gaylordsville storm, man. Oh, that's a cell up there. That's a unit. But yeah, Northern Greenwich, actually, it's technically raining in Northern Greenwich right now by the airport there, towards the White Plains border. But these storms that are more intense, sorry, let me move you're seeing my face, not the storms. These storms that are more intense over New Jersey and over lower Westchester County, these are eventually going to move into southern Fairfield County. You can see there's storms all the way back down here. So it's going to be hard to escape without getting wet in some kind of way. It's just a matter of how severe it is, right? Is it something they issue a warning for? Is it something where we see damaging wind? Or is it just more of a run-of-the-mill storm? That's kind of the question. But there's a special weather statement right now. It's not what to do. There's a special weather statement right now for southern Westchester for wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour and pea-size hail. Similar warning or special weather statement for northern Westchester County. Oh, yeah, look at that hook. Oh, boy. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. This was a new radar frame. We don't like to see the hooks. Let's try to jump back to being able to draw here. All right, so that's your inflow notch. And then this is the core of the storm up here. So this is if there's going to be hail falling in the storm, it's going to be to the north, the rotational component to the south. Sometimes you can see gusty to damaging winds heading into like Lower Mariel from that. And again, if you have any reports from this area, I'd really appreciate it. Winds picking up in New Milford, Sherman, Gaylordsville. It's probably past you now, so either it just missed like down here if you're like in here somewhere, or it got nasty. So let me know quick here. But yeah, this storm not looking good. Not looking good at all. Even more of a defined hook now in the next radar frame. Even more defined hail core just south of East Kent. I bet it's hailing right now. Anderson Road in Kent Hollow Road, headed right towards Lake Warmamog. Lake Warmamog State Park is right there. That's where we're seeing the hail core. There could be really gusty winds. I don't want to say tornado without a tornado warning, but that's starts to be the potential when you get these hooks and notches like this, right into the northernmost parts of New Milford. I think Erickson Corner, Lower Mariel, heading into New Preston, Marbledale. Those are the areas right now. This is a dangerous storm. You're going to want to be taking shelter here. Northern New Milford, New Preston. Let me look at the velocity again on this. Yeah, okay, so we'd had an increase in velocity, and right where those reds are meeting the greens there, that's where you could get a spin up. So we'll see if they put anything out on this, but right now I'd be concerned for potentially a spin up tornado in this area. See if we see anything on correlation coefficient. But sorry, mouse is being slow again. But yeah, I don't like that look at all. Let's hop back on correlation. It's probably hail we're seeing up there in South Kent. Don't see anything that's like really scary right now. But again, that's not a good look. Not a good look. Yeah, anywhere in this area here. Up new radar frame. So where the brightest greens meet the reds, that's where you got to be most concerned. Is that lining up exactly with where these worst winds are? I would guess so. All right. All right, let's see some comments here. Wind's picking up. Don't see anything right from that area. A lot of reports of thunder, a lot of reports of winds picking up. Here we go. New Milford Route 202, about to get rocked. Just got very dark. Winds picked up, cooler temp, loud thunder. Yeah, that's where I'm worried. So if you're north of New Milford, anywhere in this Route 202 towards Marbledale, towards Washington, towards New Preston, that's the area that I'd be really concerned about. I'll put it in motion for you. So that storm is the one we were watching all the way from Beekman, New York. Came out of there, had that little rotation on it, and it looks like it's getting a little bit worse now. Now, also, we're finally seeing these storms get a little bit more organized here, just in northern Westchester County, and those storms are going to be working into Greater Danbury soon. So heads up, Greater Danbury. I'm going to jump off right now because we do got to get, if there's warnings on these, I got to get them out to some of the emergency managers here. And it looks like a lot of these storms are strengthening. Please, 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 if you're in Washington, if you're anywhere on 202, northern New Milford, take cover right now. New Preston, take cover right now. Bantam, I would say do it. And please look out for a tornado warning on that storm in that area, in the middle of Litchfield County now. I really don't like it. I don't like the way it looks on radar. I don't like the way it walks or talks. Please, if you possibly can, take shelter, get to the lowest level of your home, away from windows. That's what we always recommend. So thank you everybody for the reports. Gonna hop off here. Have a safe rest of the day. If anything comes on, if anything looks like it's an active tornado on the ground, 20 minutes from now, I will try to come on again and we can do that. All right. Thank you. Have a safe rest of the day.